spring is upon us. So the first dish I'm going to do is a poached chicken, Primavera. So all the new beautiful vegetables, all these fantastic spring vegetables, which I love so much. But we're going to do it a bit different today. We're going to do it on serviette. So this is a classical French technique where we wrap the chicken in a serviette with butter and flour and make a roux, if you like, to thicken our sauce. Beautiful technique. So what we do, we take a beautiful clean serviette. We take some softened salted butter and we spread that butter. Looks quite interesting. All the way over there, like so. This is salted butter. Nice heavy amount of butter. There we go. Then we take some flour. This is just plain flour, plenty of it. And it's this butter and flour that's going to thicken the sauce at the other end. So it's really important that we get it in there because this is going to thicken the sauce. But the way it cooks in the chicken stock, I think, is absolutely beautiful. So that goes in like that. Then we've got the chicken. Let's not ignore this chicken. This is a 180-day grown Cotswold chicken from Lyons Hill Farm. I love these chickens. They are absolutely incredible. I've been looking for what I would say is my perfect chicken for a long, long time. And this is my perfect chicken. It's the husbandry is great. The way that the way the chickens are grown, cared for, the way they eat, the fat that renders out of them, it's just extraordinary. And they are the first time I've actually poached one. So anyway, they are fantastic. So all we do now, we just wrap that chicken up nice and tight in the serviette like so. Fold it under both sides, just hold it there. And we're just going to tie that pretty crudely, but just needs to be like so. And we've got a pan on the stove here with nice chicken stock in it. You can start it with water, it would work absolutely fine. But I want to start it with this with chicken stock because you've got the luxury of that being in a restaurant. I tend to do a double knot, which will just stop the string slipping, and then 1 or 2 strings this way as well. You can prepare this in advance. You can do it the day before, no problem, and just let it sit. You can also reuse the serviette, of course. You just wash it and reuse it. It's just a nice way of encompassing that whole chicken like that. Right, that chicken goes into the chicken stock that's cool, so it's not hot yet. And then we're just going to add a few vegetables into that and what's called a bouquet garni. So all we do, open it up, and it creates a beautiful little pocket for our thyme, rosemary, bay, hard herbs that we don't want floating around in there. Wrap some string around that to hold that in place. And that will let all those lovely flavours permeate through our stock. I'm going to put a little bit of salt into that as well, not too much because we've seasoned the chicken already. And we're going to reduce that stock down. So now just some what we call Mirepoix, so just big vegetables, but not too small cut because this chicken's going to take some cooking. You want that Mirepoix to cook around the same sort of time as the chicken, so that's really important. Now the cooking time on this chicken will be up to a simmer, so it should never boil. You never want the chicken to boil rapidly or anything like that. That's not going to work. So we just want the chicken to come up to a simmer, and then 15 minutes on a very, very low simmer, barely boiling, barely up there, and then take it off and let it cool down. And that cooling down is really important. And as I take it out and I turn it and I take it off the heat, I'm going to turn the chicken over so it's breast side down. I'm going to add some carrot, but I'm not going to add a lot because we don't want this whole stock to turn sweet. There's a lot of sweet vegetables from the spring bouquet of vegetables there, so we don't want too much of that in there as well. It's all fitting in there nice and tight. A little bit of celery that I think is really important. bit of celery in there too. And that's fantastic. And then a bit of garlic. Just take the front off. I'll use that for something else. Pop that in. Absolutely wonderful. That all looks tucked up nicely. I'm going to put a lid on that. And I'm going to bring it up to the boil. I'm going to turn it right down to a low simmer. And then I'm going to take it off the heat after 15 minutes. That's it. Okay, so my chicken came to the simmer, had 15 minutes on the simmer, took the pan off and left it to cool right down. That's now completely room temperature. I've lifted the chicken out, still in its serviette there, and I've got a pan on here, and I'm going to sieve away all those vegetables and make a second use for that stock. So that was chicken stock in the beginning, and then it's been sort of powered up by our lovely poached chicken, and now we're going to use that again. So I'm going to bring that to the boil now. Over here, lots of lovely vegetables of the season. So lovely baby carrot, some baby leek, some baby turnip, we've got some asparagus, we've got some peas, got some broad beans. So what we're going to do, the lettuce is to finish the dish. So what we're going to do is now cook these vegetables in the same stock, but we're going to try and cook them one at a time, adding them one at a time, so that they can cook at the same time. We end up with everything cooked together perfectly in the pan. So the first thing we'll add to that is the thing that takes the longest, and the last thing we'll add is the thing that takes the least. So we'll add the turnips first once that comes to a boil. But while we're waiting for that to happen, we'll just quickly get this chicken out, because we need all the flour and butter from inside. So we'll just whip that out like so. Lose the string. That's it. I'm using a plate because if it's on a chopping board, I'm going to get a lot of mess everywhere. I don't want that, and I want to make sure we keep hold of the flour and butter. That's really important. Just cut that string off, release the chicken. I have pre-strung the chicken because I think it's important that he stays together nice and tight and cooks evenly. That's really important. The important thing for us is this here, which is what's on this cloth. Doesn't look the most appealing thing you've ever seen, but it's really important. So this, you can actually smell that beautiful chicken. You can smell poached chicken. It just smells absolutely gorgeous. So that goes into there like so. And that's going to be our magical thickening agent and our power flavour product. And I'll just wash this cloth and keep it for another time. So in there is all that flour and butter mixed up. And there's also some on the chicken as well, which we can rescue too. And we'll do that in a sec. So as that chicken stock comes up to the boil, into the pan goes the baby turnip. And we'll just give those about 2 minutes, let them boil. And then we'll go in with the carrot next. Then we'll go in with the leek. Then we'll go with the asparagus. Then we'll go with the peas and the broad beans. And we'll be there. But it's just about getting that timing right. So we use the same pan for the same vegetables all the way through to the end. Good. Okay, now let's take that chicken down. So the turnips have had 3 minutes, in goes the carrots, they'll want another 3 minutes. And then it'll be the time for the leeks, and we're trying to sort of build up that beautiful stock with all the vegetable flavours as well, and that stock's what's going to then produce our sauce at the end with our thickening agent as well. In goes my baby leeks into that pot of vegetables. And again, it's that timing, so 3 minutes for the turnip, 3 minutes for carrots, and then 2 minutes for those leeks. In goes that lovely asparagus, and we're starting to look at the whole larder of spring there into our beautiful chicken stock. Taken some stock out to reduce it down a little bit so we've got power for our sauce. That just in itself is like a beautiful thing. So in there now goes our peas and broad beans. That's that's fresh English peas, fresh English broad beans. That's all those incredible vegetables. We'll see it all, how it all comes together in a minute. So in this bowl is the flour and the butter that was in that serviette and went with the chicken and cooked with the chicken. That's our thickening agent. So in here is that stock that started out as chicken stock, poached our chicken, then cooked our vegetables, and then been reduced down. So this is our mother stock. This is our power for the whole dish. Don't add all the butter and flour at the same time because it will thicken a lot and you don't want that to be overly thick. But you do want a texture and a richness to the stock that's going to just make the whole dish coat. What you want is for that creamy sauce to coat the chicken and just give it that beautiful mouthfeel. That's what we're looking for. So it just thickens up. And then we're going to add a touch of double cream. Sometimes I use creme fraiche, sometimes double cream. I just feel like a double cream moment at the moment. So there we go. Double cream just adds that bit of fat, that bit of richness, bit of texture to it as well. And we'll let that cook out now and you'll see how that will start to become really thick and delicious. And we'll finish that in a really special way. Oh, oh my God, so good. Okay, that sauce is now exactly where we want it. That goes back over the warm vegetables, like so. That's our super rich chicken velouté sauce. Oh my word. We need to freshen that up and wake it up a little bit. So in there, a little bit of lettuce, shredded lettuce, a few picked herbs into there, a little bit of dill, a little bit of chervil into that, some chopped herbs as well. Give that a little mix. She's ready to go. So the ultimate one-pot wonder, but not one that takes just a couple of minutes. This actually takes a lot of work and a lot of time, but it delivers huge amounts of pleasure. So we'll plate that now over the chicken on a family-style platter. And that is my ultimate chicken feast. And you see when you poach the chicken, you also get sort of, let's have a look here, you get this sort of beautiful texture to the chicken as well, which I love. Super soft, firms up, stays fresh. So that's how I would serve that chicken. I love chicken like this, a big family style serving dish. So that's chicken primavera, chicken with beautiful seasonal spring vegetables and cooked on serviette, which is also classical French, and then one sauce made from the poaching liquor all the way down to a velouté, and then finished with that butter and flour liaison at the end. So there's my chicken. Happy cooking.